Last night, the members of the IATF approved IATF Resolution number 17. The Department of Health shall coordinate with the Department of Transportation and the Department of National Defense to ensure the prompt delivery of personal protective equipments from suppliers or donors to the National Task Force NTF COVID-19 Task Group on Resource Management and Logistics, and ultimately to the frontliners on the ground. The DOTR shall lead the identification of maritime vessels that can serve as floating quarantine centers in coordination with the DOH. The Department of Tourism shall finalize the identification of hotels and other similar establishments as quarantine facilities in every region of the country. The Bureau of Quarantine is directed to assess the adequacy of such facilities identified by the DOT. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, in cooperation with private entities, shall complete all the works necessary to convert the Philippine International Convention Center, or PICC, the World Trade Center, the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex, and such other facilities as may be necessary into fully functional quarantine facilities. LGUs shall finalize the identification and furbishing of provincial, city, municipal, and barangay quarantine facilities in accordance with the guidelines issued by the DILG. The DOH Centers for Health Development and the regional offices of the Department of Interior and Local Government. The local government units, including uniformed services, shall form composite teams who will serve as personnel in quarantine facilities operated by the national government and LGUs, provided that all identified facilities shall be reported to the NTF COVID-19 Task Group on Resource Management and Logistics for consolidation, provided further that the latter shall classify the identified facilities into those that can be utilized for quarantine of persons under monitoring, isolation of patients under investigation or PUIs, and those where positive COVID-19 cases with mild symptoms may be managed. LGUs are likewise directed to fulfill the following functions in accordance with the guidelines issued by the DOH as applicable. Number 1, sustain the provision of basic necessities and local transport for their residents. Number 2, identify appropriate human resources who may aid the national government in conducting intensive contact tracing, assessment, and monitoring of PUMs and PUIs, as well as in the issuance of certificate of completion of 14-day quarantine through their local health units. And number 3, disinfect areas in their respective localities as frequently as necessary. Employees of the Philippine Postal Corporation at a capacity necessary to maintain the prompt delivery of services to its clients, provided that such exemption shall be without prejudice to the requirement of strict social distancing measures in their establishments. The IATF recommends to the Office of the President the proposal of the Department of Agriculture to import a total of 300,000 metric tons of rice by the Philippine International Trading Corporation, or PITC, through government-to-government arrangements for contingency purposes. The national policy of unhampered movement of cargoes and workers from permitted establishments such as agriculture and food products and their supply chain is hereby affirmed. The IATF Technical Working Group is directed to convene and finalize the parameters for deciding on the eventual total or partial lifting of the ECQ in Luzon, the possible extension of its duration or its expansion to other areas outside the contained area, subject to the approval, amendment, or modification by the IATF. The IATF TWG is likewise directed to formulate and present a decision tool for the management of land-based or sea-based overseas Filipino workers who may be repatriated through the efforts of the national government. The IATF adopts the recommendation of the Department of Justice for the issuance of a joint memorandum circular governing the handling of confiscated goods covered by the Price Act and other relevant laws. And finally, the Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTA, shall form part of the expanded membership of the IATF.